Shout out Near Falls with D Hall's podcast.
Welcome to Near Falls with D Hall. He's talking on bars and how they win it all. Yeah, it's Near Falls with D Hall. The final takedown, the glory or the fall. So loosen up, step on in, wrestle with the need to win. Talking Near Falls with D Hall. Ready or not, he's here to brawl.
And we are live back again for another edition of Near Falls in the Whitfield, but it is a super special edition of Near Falls in the Whitfield. First things first, my main man, Kaz, how are you?
What's up, brother? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
To all the listeners. And in a few days, Happy New Year. But we have a couple 2-day tournaments to take care of before we celebrate the New Year, huh, Donnie?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've been talking about it through the first part of the year here. This is kind of the first checkpoint, if you will, in the season, and two of the premier tournaments here in the Whitfield this season. Of course, the Southmoreland Holiday Classic, and we have the Powerade tournament, of course. So, and we have 4 fantastic guests on with us today. It's going to be a great show. So those of you that are getting ready to watch football here in a couple hours, settle in with us. We're going to be talking about both tournaments in depth. It's going to be great, as well as with our guests. So we do have one of the tournament directors for the Southmoreland Holiday Classic due to come on here in just a little bit, and that is Dan Boring, a good friend of you, Kaz, and as I've grown through this thing, I feel like I'm getting right there with you. He's just a great dude. Super excited to have him on, talk to him about the Classic. And then as we get into the Powerade in a little bit, man, 3 fantastic guests. So 4 guests on. Wes Phipps from Grove City is due to come on with us. I was able to talk to him. He has a couple of top tier hammers and a fantastic team up there in Grove City. He's coming on. And then Kaz, why don't you give me the last 2 that we have coming on towards the end of the show?
So towards the end of the show, we have a little father-son combo. Mike Nauman, the head coach of Bishop McDevitt, out of District 3 in the middle of the state. They are one of the top AA teams in the state. I believe they're ranked 3rd in the state in AA right now. And we'll be joined by his son, who is, well known across the state, a former state champ in Pennsylvania, Tyler Nauman, who is now an assistant at Cannon McMillan High School, who also has a team that looks like they're going to make some noise in this Powerade tournament, as well as in the team race. They're right in the thick of that AAA team race in the WPIAL. So we're going to have both the Naumans on with us. This will be our first time getting both of them together on here. I know we've had Mike individually and we've had Tyler individually, but I don't know. Is there gonna be some arguments between the two on here? I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. We definitely cleared out a good space of time to have a good show, and yeah, as you said, it should get a little interesting for sure. But I guess, what do you think, man? Let's dive into Southmoreland, and I think there's no better way to do that than to have our first guest on, and that is this guy, Mr. Dan Boring. How are you, sir?
Good, guys. How are you?
Doing well.
Real good indeed. Thank you for taking a little time out here on a Sunday morning to hang out with us and talk about the Classic. I mean, first things first, man, the Classic is, as I said on the lead there, one of the premier events in the Whitfield during the Whitfield schedule for me. You guys get a bunch of teams, not only in the Whitfield, but outside of the Whitfield. So kind of just give me a little bit of the history of the Classic and where it sits today.
Yeah, so this is the 26th year of the tournament, started by Coach John Banco, who now is our flow track wrestling guy. So he's still, behind the scenes doing all that for us. This is my 9th year as a tournament director, so I was running that while I was the coach there at Southmoreland, and it's kind of kept it going because I felt like we were in a good place with it. It's a great tournament that if we didn't keep it moving and change it, we might have lost it. So still running that tournament, but it, to me, is honestly, you said, one of the premier winter tournaments out there in the in Whitfield and also in the state of PA. I feel like we get a lot of good teams coming in, both in Westmoreland County, the Whitfield, and then we have some out-of-state teams like Ryan Shaw brings Indian Land up from South Carolina. Normally, Mike Woods, my former coach of Dairy, brings his team from Rockbridge, Virginia. They actually can't come this year, but You have teams from out east coming as well. I think it's an overall really solid tournament of teams that are going to get some good work in the next 2 days.
So with the Southmoreland tournament, like you said, you brought a number of teams from different states and whatnot. Not only are you getting the teams outside of the WPL, you're getting some very like Butler, a team that's been a force in kind of AAA the past how many years. They're always there. How are you picking your WPL teams? Is it a hand selection each year, or is there a waiting list? How do you manage getting the right
Yeah,
teams?
so what I've done since I've ran it the last 9 years is we have a wait list, and at the end of each tournament, and we start preparation, right at the tournament ends. So if teams don't want to return, we send a form out. Hey, are you returning next year? Are you not? Then we kind of go through that selection process, and then on the wait list, hey, coach, I have a spot available. You're first on my list. Do you want to get in? So we have teams every year who are emailing me and John Banko wanting to get in right as the year turns to the new year, and we have space, and we start inviting those teams in. But we kind of look luckily too at what's going to make the tournament overall better. Like if a team has 3-4 kids, and we're not going to say, hey, we want that team coming in, right? We want to bring teams that have full lineups, guys that have hammers throughout the lineup, and that overall make the quality of the tournament better.
Yeah, I love that. And it seems like every year it just seems to get a little bit better and better there. For me, talk about, having I know that, what is it, Westmoreland Sports Network is going to do your finals. Talk about just having them in, and it seems like, they elevate everything, but, the kids kind of get to be on camera, get around that. Just talk about that experience.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about the Classic is we run the medal rounds 3 through 8th place before the finals. So you get everybody else done. We tear the mats down, reset up. We get the mat in the middle, get the spotlight on, and to bring in Westmoreland Sports Network, who I am building a relationship with those guys the last 12, 13 years. I know Dan Flickinger well he's a Dairy guy. I'm from Dairy. Chris, they great guys. So having them come in to do the finals has been a real nice touch to the Classic because I feel like that elevates the tournament itself. Because now you can get that out there. Other people weren't at the tournament to see, hey, there's some high level matches going on in these finals of the Southmoreland Holiday Classic. So to me, that's where they do a great job. Like you said there, I mean, everything they do, not just the Classic, but their kickoff show, their wrestling matches that they do, but to have them in the Classic, I mean, they do a great job. So,
is there anything in particular you're looking forward to this year at the Classic? Any matchups that you potentially see, any new teams, anything that's intriguing you this year compared to other years?
Nothing too different. I think, the middle weight classes, like 39 to 60, even 72 were our biggest weight classes. Those are full. We actually take extras out because we had to cut it off at 32 exactly. We had like 40 kids in each of those brackets before we had to cut some extras out of the bracket. So there should be some good matches in those middleweight classes. I think the heavyweight bracket, the top 2 seeds, I think, not in front of me, I'm in my car, we were at church here, but the number 1 seed, and then I think Caden Shannon from Southmoreland, that'll be a good finals matchup if they both get there, but there could be upsets in that bracket as well. I think the heavyweight match and then some of those middleweight classes will be really good.
I love that. Last thing I have for you, Coach. I see you got, talked a little bit about there, but you got big dairy on your chest. I know that you're over there. Talk about, being part of that program, and man, they look pretty special this year.
They do. I mean, I've been, blessed to be able to coach there the last 2 years in the junior high program and seeing some of the talent they're going to have come up to the high school that they have this year too, and some of those freshmen. But working with Dolan again, him and I were, teammates back in Dairy back in 05 to 08 before he graduated. It's been great being back though. There's a good depth of talent coming up in the youth, and also what they have middle school. And then, like I said, you see what there is at the high school this year. There, I mean, they're one of the top, in my mind, top 5 teams in the state in AA. Excited to see what they do at Powerade this week, Monday and Tuesday, with those guys. Some of those guys should do pretty well out there.
And then last one for me, just more directed towards you. You and I have known each other a while. You were the Southmoreland athletic director and head wrestling coach. Then you transfer into the principal role at Dairy. How has that transition been kind of in your professional life and still managing wrestling with that?
Yeah, honestly, it hasn't been a big change for me. You guys know me well. I do a lot of different things, wear a lot of hats. So moving in from an AD role to a principal, there's still administrative roles. Little bit less involved in the athletic side, obviously, the principal, especially when I was elementary level at Dairy. So that's a little bit one of the changes. I'm not involved in athletics as much. But it hasn't been a big change with getting wrestling to still work. I'm actually, I don't know if you guys knew this. I actually am now at Greensburg Salem Middle School. I just
Oh,
moved
I
there.
Just
did not.
because of the email. That's all. That's why I was smiling.
Yeah, so I started there 2 weeks ago as a middle school principal there, a little closer to home. And that was kind of one of the big key things for me. But I'm still coaching at Dairy this year. But it's been good. Actually, the biggest problem is my wife will let me take a break from coaching here soon. So we'll see what the future brings down the road with coaching. I love wrestling, so I'll be involved in some capacity. But yeah, the principal role has been a different thing than AD, but at the same time, they're similar roles, same hours, still working with kids, building relationships with the community and families. So has been a big change.
I love it,
Awesome.
Coach. Anything or anyone you want to shout out before we leave you go?
Like I said, just my wife and my family. I do, I have 5 kids and my wife, and they keep me busy, but also with all the roles that I have. And everybody involved in the Southern Holiday Classic, from John Banco to Terry Quashnock and his staff, the coaches there, the booster organization, Southmoreland School District for all their help with the Classic. Looking forward to 2 really good days of wrestling.
Love that. My man, Dan Boring, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will see you real soon, my friend.
Sound good, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Take care.
Later, Coach.
See you.
All right. And that was Mr. Dan Boring. Great dude, as you said there, Kaz. Tournament director over there at the Southmoreland Holiday Classic. One of these tournaments, as we were just talking about there, it's just elevating and elevating. Kaz, give me your quick thoughts before we're going to do a couple little ad reads here for our sponsors, and then we're going to dive into the Classic.
Yeah, that tournament gets kind of overshadowed just because Powerade's right there. But I go to the second day of Southmoreland every year, and it's a hell of a tournament. Great crowd. They do a great job with the finals.
Mhm.
They bring the the spotlight out. Dan does a great job. I know he has help with, John Banco runs the flow and track, and Hugh, the head wrestling coach at Southmoreland. I'm actually going to be there tonight. I go every night before the tournament and help them set up mats and stuff. So I'll be there tonight for a few hours, kind of talking to those guys, and it's a fun time. They do a really good job. And credit to Southmoreland and Dan Boring for keeping this tournament going. He said, "What, this is 30? How many years did he say this was? 31."
It was a lot. Yeah, over 30, I believe. So, yeah, that's good stuff for sure. Okay, let's do a little bit of sponsorship here.
Is not game day without Pizza Bosa. Perfect for the family and the guys. Right next door to the PPG Paints Arena in downtown Pittsburgh. Dine-in, pickup, and delivery available from 10 a.m. to midnight. Stop by 741 5th Avenue or call 412-575-7575.
Hi, my name is Antonio Reyino, owner of Reversal Health and Wellness. I've been in healthcare for nearly 20 years and seen the effects obesity can have on someone's health. That's what inspired me to offer GLP-1 therapy at Reversal Health and Wellness. New evidence-based research has shown remarkable benefits of the therapy, including reversing fatty liver disease, improvement of sleep apnea, and slowing the progression of heart and kidney disease. And unlike national online companies, you won't get lost in the mix and you're not just another number. You'll receive a personalized treatment plan tailored to your goals and your health. And if you're not near Newcastle, Pennsylvania, no worries. Telemedicine options are always available. Also at Reversal Health and Wellness, we offer IV hydration therapy. We offer 7 different IV cocktails infused with nutrients designed to restore balance, boost energy, and support optimal health. Rather, if you're an athlete training for a competition, or a fatigued mother or two, or recovering from an illness, IV hydration will benefit you. We're located in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, on Wilmington Road at the Maison Building. You can either book online or call the office. Thank you.
All right, Kaz, let's dive into the Classic. Let's see if I can figure out how to share the screen the right way here. Present, share screen. All right, we see it all right there. That's not bad,
Yeah.
huh? That's pretty good.
Good to go.
Shout out again I was going to say head coach, but assistant coach over there, Dan Boring at Dairy, and tournament director, was able to scoot us some of these seeds, or all the seeds rather, for the Classic. So we can run down these real quick, Taz. I don't know. I think, looking down this, like you said, there's some top teams here, not only in AA, but also AAA. And he gets schools from outside the area that come in and do battle. I really love this tournament.
Yeah, it's a great tournament. That he does a great job putting it on, and there's always some great matches, throughout this tournament and in the finals. Westmoreland Sports Network always covers the finals, and it never disappoints. Never disappoints.
Okay, buddy. So what do we got here? Looking down it, Albert Gallatin, Gavin Morris at 107, Colt Knapp from Plum. I like to see like some of these, like, especially this time of year, whenever these guys drop or the weight classes shuffle a little bit. It's always interesting. I think 114 right off the bat looks pretty interesting. Michael Johnson, Bennett Ferraro, Medlin looks really good this year. There's some good kids right in that weight class right off the bat.
Yeah, 114 should be pretty good. I feel like Ferraro and Johnson are the two guys there.
Yeah.
I would expect to see them in the finals, and I think that'll be a hell. They wrestled last year, I feel like, a couple times.
Yeah, part of that 107 meat grinder last year was pretty.
Yeah, 107 was really good last year.
Okay. 121, Lucas Carson, the 1 seed, Braun, the 2 seed, Thomas, the 3 seed, and Bradley, the 4 seed. Looking down this, another pretty decent weight class. Again, just kind of look down these here, man. There's a bunch of different teams like Berlin, Brothers Valley, Westmont, Hilltop. I love getting some of those teams towards the middle of the state.
Yes, absolutely. And a couple of the out-of-state teams, too. I know the team Jeff Shaw's brother brings up from South Carolina is really good.
Yeah. Let's see. Savannah look good this year. Sloboda's look good this year, obviously.
That's a good weight right there.
I was going to say
like
33,
that.
pretty good, huh?
Sloboda, Snatchko, Mason Wright. That's a good weight. That's a really good weight. Daniel Smith and Burgettstown's solid.
Smith. Yeah, I like that one. 39. 39 is not bad. I like that too.
Is it Ben Show at the 2?
Hensman, Caddis.
Caddis at the 3. Who's that? Rocco's a guy from New York. The 4 seed there? Plum, is that Plum? Yeah, Plum's going there.
Yeah, Joe Klein. Yeah, Plum always has a sneaky team. They finished high, I think, last year. Plum had a really good team last year.
They did. Still got Campbell in the lineup too.
United's got a couple kids, dude, that they bring that are good.
They do, with Garshnick. They had those with a couple of years ago. They had him, Sombronsky.
I think a couple will end up going to UPJ.
Yeah, Sombronsky's at Seton Hill right now, actually, with Vinny D.
Love that. Let's see.
52 is good. I like that.
That's a good one. Torkowitz, what a name.
Torkowitz and Eardley to hit in the semis if they get there.
Dylan Campbell's look good this year. He has 100 wins. Just picked that up. Logan Noyes. I know that Vidge has talked about him as being kind of one of those guys for him.
That could be the finals match of the tournament there.
I like that weight class.
Campbell and Eardley. That would be a hell of a hell of a finals match.
I agree. I like that.
Gotta watch out for that one. 160. Forgot he was still there.
Stoner.
Yeah, I feel like
he got hurt last year. That's why.
That's right. He did.
Like preseason.
72. Corey always has a really good tournament there.
They do.
They always have a solid
They made
team.
states last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They always bring a solid team there.
That's a good school.
Beaver County Christian Renew West A. I like West A going there.
Yeah, Troy was pumped to get in there. It's a good tournament.
West A's gonna have a good chance to win that.
We'll see. They got to have some of the guys step up that that aren't typically doing their thing. But they're definitely having a good they're definitely wrestling pretty well. They had a bad first little stretch there, just some tough ones. I thought they could have had a good chance to beat Connellsville. Just a couple matches didn't go their way. It was on like a random Tuesday night, but like I love and like I was pumped that Troy wanted to go down there and put those kids in that environment and experience that. You want to wrestle the best, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean that's why. And then they go out and wrestle at King of the Mountain last week. So yeah, I mean those that know me, I'm all in on the process. I love it, what he has going on over there, and everyone that's around it. So
Leahy's
like
up to
it's a good one.
Leahy's up at 215. He's going to be dangerous at 215. That's an athletic 215-pound kid.
Yes.
Not just in this tournament, the rest of the year. But heavyweight, yeah. Like if Dana and Shannon, potential finals.
Yeah, I like that. Dude, don't sleep on the kid from Plum, the Grazelius.
He's good. He is. I watched him at we covered the Plum Penn Trafford duel on Westmoreland Sports Network a couple weeks ago. He's a full-sized heavyweight and he's athletic. Kid's not bad. He'll be in the mix in February for sure.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, heavyweight definitely is sneaky. Like Mr. Boring said there. I like that.
It is. They have a solid tournament here.
Okay. Let's see here, brother. Let's remove that now. All right, dude. So, I mean, like I said, if you had I'm not against picking Musquad. That's kind of where I was thinking. I think West A has a really good chance to win that. You kind of took the words right out of my mouth. But, they got to have their hammers do their thing, and then some of the guys on the backside win matches and things like that. But, again, like I think that's a perfect tournament to get in and go to. With it, what we're going to talk about, Powerade's it's gnarly, dude.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think West A is the favorite to win it at Southmoreland, but there's a couple teams that I think can. Butler's going to bring a full lineup. They're going to have some guys in there. Corey's going to be right in the mix. They are kind of every year. And I don't know if they're going to have the full complement of lineup, but Beth Center has 3 or 4 kids in that lineup. They're all going to place really high that are going to score them a lot of team points. But I would agree with you. I would say West A right now is the favorite to win that.
And that's not often that I say that for my boys. I like to be.
Troy won't be happy that we said that.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. I like to be more under the radar with my boys, but I think that they're wrestling pretty good. I think they're gonna look good, and I don't know. Time will tell, though. Again, that there's a lot of like little landmines in that tournament. There's guys that like you may not know about from other parts of the. Obviously the Whitfield guys are the Whitfield guys, but there's like United, the Brilliant Brothers Valley, and Westmont Hilltops, and North Star was there for years. They always had some kids.
Yeah.
Like there's just like odd schools like that, which I love. Okay, so I sent that email over to Coach Phipps, and we're going to dive into the Powerade. I had the seeds up here, Kaz. I think I should be able to pull them up next. Let's see. Yeah, baby.
I'm glad you're a tech guy because I'm not.
I'm getting there.
I would absolutely destroy it.
I'm getting there. Just slow and steady wins the race. As long as. All right, so let's see. Where is it? This one. So this tab instead. Bang. Okay. And I think before we bring those up, I think we bring our next guest on. What do you think, Kaz?
Let's do that.
All right. Joining us on the show now, head coach of Grove City High School, Mr. Wes Phipps. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Pumped to have you on as always. Not as always. First time. That's usually my saying. So, but man, I've heard a lot about you. I've talked to you a few times. I love that some of the kids that have been coming out of your school, and man, just monsters. And I love the way they wrestle. So I guess first things first for me, talk to me about, doing your thing over there at Grove City. How long have you had the job, and kind of the state of the program right now?
Yeah. So again, years start running together. I think it's 7th or 8th year. I took over right after college. Didn't have any coaching experience really, but the program needed a coach, so I just kind of jumped in, and we've been blessed. In the community, hometown boy, everybody kind of rallied around me, so that was really cool. And then we had some studs in the waiting whenever I did take over. The Karenbauers, the Homans, the Hamiltons, et cetera. And then we just kind of started from the ground up and started rebuilding a little bit. But I'm just blessed with a really nice program and just a good group of kids that have kind of stayed in Grove City and followed me up. And now they're competing on some of the highest levels. Whether it's at Powerade this weekend or at States or Fargo. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we've been wanting to get you on here for a while. I know Donnie's close with some Grove City people. I've had Hudson Homan wrestle on my Stand Your Ground card. A dear friend of mine, Tyler Greer. I'm sure you know the Greers.
Oh, yeah.
From Grove City. But talk about, how does it feel just leading the school that you wrestled for, won a state title for, played football for? How is it being the head man of the school that kind of molded you into who you are?
Yeah, I mean, I think just kind of wrestling's what made me who I was. My parents are super involved. My brother's probably the biggest Grove City wrestling fan going right now, and they don't miss matches. I say my parents are like the grandparents for the wrestling team. But I had an awesome high school coach in Marty Ruley, who passed away last year, and I think he just kind of really made me appreciate what a coach can do for a kid. And then, obviously I got the opportunity to go on and wrestle for Cale Sanderson, which was amazing. And then even just learning up at Mercyhurst 2 years, I went to grad school there from a guy like Mike Whaler, and kind of how to do a lot with, limited resources, to just come back to Grove City and, kind of reinstill some pride in a program. And, for me, the goal has always just been to continue to get to that next level. And I'm training and working our way to coach, my first state champ there. I think we're really close. We got some kids that are right there and they're ready to do it. And, just that feeling that I got winning a state title, for me to give that back to a local kid in my hometown would be really awesome. So I think that's just kind of what drives me every day with coaching.
Coach, for me, and I think we've touched on it a little bit there, you have some of really some high seeds coming into this tournament, some studs, I think some under the radar guys, which I'm going to talk about a little bit here in a little bit. But talk to me about coming down and wrestling at a tournament like this, just an hour south of home, and you get some of the best kids in the country to push some of your best guys.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this was definitely a tournament that was kind of earned. Like we weren't, I didn't come into Grove City where we just were grandfathered in and you go to Powerade every year. We kind of had to start from a ground up rebuild of the program. And then, we started going to the Burgettstown tournament, which Frank Volcano ran. And, Viglioti's over there. They do a great job. And so we kind of put ourselves on the radar, started placing high there, started winning, some weight classes there. And then eventually had Frank come up and start working at the Fred Bell tournament. And again, just kind of working our way in and finally got the invite to Powerade. And then, so again, that's an earned thing to get there. A lot of teams want to go wrestle at Powerade. It's one of the best tournaments in the country. So, our guys are just, grateful for the opportunity and they're ready to go out there and compete and scrap. So we're excited.
And deservedly so. You guys got the invite to Powerade. I mean, the team is really good and it starts out quick. You have the number one seed at 114 in Chase Karenbauer. Talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Chase is just an amazing kid. He's gone through, some different adversity in his life, right from the get-go. But, I mean, just one of the smartest wrestlers you've ever met. And you never have to, worry about him showing up and just going hard in practice. And, I mean, he's really kind of made the room better around him. You see Ian Stearns, Kagan Painter, all those guys, in those lower weights have all trained together for years and years, through the Bad Karma Club. And really it's just exciting because, they just go and they wrestle and they're fun. And that last year's finals match was crazy. And, we brought a big crowd and it was loud. And, those are the matches that you want to get at the beginning of the year and get you ready for the state tournament ultimately at the end.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I guess for me, the last question I have is, we're talking about some big tournaments and some premier tournaments. You guys have a premier tournament, and you mentioned it earlier, the Fred Bell. Talk about that tournament, and man, it's really morphed into, for me, one of the best tournaments towards the end of the year before we get towards postseason time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough tournament. And again, it's another one of those tournaments where like I can kind of control it and change it. And so we've really, as our team has gotten better, we've pushed, and I think other teams want to come wrestle, our guys. So right at the end of the year, for me, we're trying to, peak at the right time. And some people are a little intimidated. I think especially teams that are really looking at, dual meet tournament. It's a little late for some of them, but just some of the semifinals and the finals that you get where it's number 1 versus number 2 in the state. Those are fun. And, we've grown it to 40 teams. We're about at max capacity. There's always a wait list right now of teams trying to get in. But, again, we've just worked really hard to put on a good tournament that has a good brand, and just super thankful for all the help that I get from our boosters in the local community and the school to let us start early on Friday so we can not be there till 11 o'clock at night. Makes it a little more enjoyable too. So.
And then one other name I want to bring up in your lineup, Hudson Homan. He's a 4-year guy in your lineup. His older brother was in the lineup. Talk about how he's I'm assuming he's taking a leadership role on in your room. Kind of talk about the foundation that him and his brother kind of laid at the Grove City program over the past, 7-8 years.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably start with Hunter. He was the oldest of that kind of group of, I'll just call them club kids that, their parents threw them in the SUV and drove all of them around, all over the place. And that's what you need, I think, for a program, is just parents and the kids being involved. So he was with us when I had 1-2 kids at districts, and, we didn't have any state qualifiers all the way, being my first state medalist, and kind of rolling up through. And he was a leader of the program, just toughness. And then, his brother, Hudson's, get beat up by the big brother all the time. And he was just another scrappy kid that, came into high school, was coming off a football injury at 114, 121 pounds, lost the JV match up at General McLean, his first match, and then goes on and takes 4th at the state at the end of the year at 121 pounds. He's about the nicest kid you can ever meet. If you guys have coached him on different teams, super great teammate, going to Bucknell, great student. I think his career is, continuing to trend upward, second place in the state last year. And really, if you don't have a Bo Bassett, then Hudson's, probably trying to go get a second state title in a lot of regards. But we're just super excited for him. He's a technician. He's a worker. And he's just a lot of fun to watch wrestle. And he's going to go forward the whole time. So we're excited for him this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm a big fan of Hudson, and I know that Dan Neff over there at my mind's blanking, at Bucknell is really excited to have him and get him going. Like you said, great student, easy to have over there. I guess last thing I have for you, brother, just talk to me about your expectations, your goals, kind of for the rest of the year, and as we kind of leave you go.
Yeah, well, for Powerade this weekend, our really good buddy Caleb Kolb and Ian Applenap that were, at one point in time in charge of Pine Richland there. Hey, get to the left side of the sheet in terms of the score column. Get the guys in the finals, get guys winning matches. This tournament's not perfect for our whole lineup, but you want those guys to go and compete and not be afraid to go out on the big stage. And we're just going to kind of use this to propel us into January. You get the 2 pounds now. This is kind of the meat of our schedule. We end, with Fred Bell there at the end, and then you roll right into the postseason. And, we just want to be trending upwards and, use this as a great opportunity to wrestle some of the best guys in the country and get a lot of exposure. So we're excited.
Go ahead, Cass.
Awesome stuff. What would you consider would be a success for this Powerade tournament?
Well, obviously, Chase right now has a goal to be a 4-time Powerade champ. So, we have individual goals with that, and that'd be an amazing accomplishment. So, he's in a good spot, in the bracket. So he's got to go do what he does, and that's go and compete at a high level. Hudson's obviously, again, on a good spot in the bracket. He's earned that, number 3 seed there. So he's got to just go and wrestle. But 2 in the finalists would be a huge accomplishment for me. And then we got a couple other guys that I think are going to be right there in the blood rounds. Returning state medals with Ian Stearns, and then also state qualifier Tanner Hamilton, and middle school state champ Kagan Painter. They just got to go out and wrestle. And I just, my goal always for them is just to wrestle their best, on that weekend, whatever that may be and wherever that falls. We'll be extremely excited, as long as they're going out competing and scoring points. So.
I love that, Coach. I guess last thing I have for you, anything or anyone you want to shout out before we leave you go?
I guess just, the Grove City community. We kind of had a little battle there, keeping our wrestling room up in Grove City. And the community just has rallied around everything that this club and this group wants to do. So, the wrestling community is strong, all over Western PA. And I'm just, hoping that everybody stays healthy this weekend. And again, just, thankful for my team and the guys on it and all the support we get. So thank you.
Good stuff, Coach. Thanks for coming on and hanging out with us.
Yep, thank you. Thank you, guys. Hey, get me back on again. I love it.
Yes, sir.
We will.
Real soon. Later, brother.
Take care.
All right. And that was head coach of Grove City, Wes Phipps. That was a great interview, Kaz. I like some of his insight there. Again, bringing some of the best kids down, some high-seeded kids, and a team that, like he talked about, is on the rise.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're gonna have a good tournament with Homan, Karen Bauer. Stearns placed states last year. It's not seeded, which that happens here. There's plenty of kids in this tournament that were. And then he has that freshman who won the state last year at junior high. And you and I always talk about this is kind of the coming out party for the elite freshmen. We get to see them. It started with Rune Lawrence 3 or 4 years ago, and we're like, we think he'll have a decent Powerade in the COVID year, and he ends up running through the bracket. And we're like,
finals.
Gnarly. So this is kind of, and not just that freshman. There's a handful of freshmen in the Whitfield that you and I have kind of had our eyes on, and they're in this field, and we're gonna see. Yeah,
for sure. And I think right before we dive into the Powerade and we bring the Naumans on, and because I believe Ty has one of those kids that you just referenced, a tough freshman hammer in the Whitfield. I think that he could make some noise for Cannon Mac over there. But let's talk about a couple more of our sponsors real quick. Again, we had our first 2 videos there, but I want to emphasize my man over at Fox Run Golf Course. It's on this side of the city, Beaver County, Pennsylvania, just north Beaver Falls. Fantastic publicly owned golf course. It's owned by wrestlers. Some of the Stroops that we were seeing on the page, I believe that it is the Stroop family. And again, that's a Freedom family. So super pumped to have them on and be a part of the program here. Great golf course. Go and check it out. 3 par 5s on the front. Go and get you a couple Eagles, Kaz. You know what I'm saying? Not bad at all. So, again, real pumped to have them. And, Kaz, talk about the golf course on your side of the city that we love to hang out at.
Yeah, so east of the city, Manor Valley, out here in Export, Pennsylvania. Again, similar to yours, run by wrestlers. Vince D. Augustine, head wrestling coach at Seton Hill, is the owner of Manor Valley. Great family atmosphere, 2 full-service bars, restaurant, dining area, full 18 holes. Have a number of events there. 93.7 The Fan has the Fan Open. Employs a lot of ex-wrestlers, current wrestlers. 20 minutes outside of Monroeville, half hour from the city. Great family environment. They do a great job. That is Manor Valley in Export, Pennsylvania.
All right, brother, man. What do you think? Before we dive fully into the Powerade preview, let's bring on the combo. This is going to be a wild one, dude. I'm excited.
Oh, I am too.
All right. All right. Oh, yeah. And we have Mr. Tyler Nauman and Coach Nauman on the show hanging out with us. What's going on, boys?
What's going on down in Kaz? How are you?
What's going on?
Got a little extra guest with us.
The Goose.
There's Coach Nauman.
Yeah, he's coming.
Are you guys going to be all right on here together?
Probably not. Are we ever all right together?
No, that's
Let's
why.
just
That's why we're
be
we're
honest.
making sure.
Oh, and
We're
we got
making
his brother
sure.
too. I love it. We got all the Naumans. Give it to me.
Yeah,
He don't know how to
Danny's
use his phone.
yeah. Mike now might have a little bit of trouble. He's not real good with technology, but he's there. Keeps putting his hand there.
What's going
What's
on,
up,
Coach?
Coach? How are you?
Hello.
What's
Yeah,
up,
we
Coach?
hear
How
you
are you?
talk.
All right. We can't get the internet. We're on the highway. We're in the mountains.
You sound great, Coach. Thank you for taking some time out and hanging out with us. Before we lose you, I guess first thing I have is talk about bringing the Hammer squad that you have out here to Powerade.
I don't know if it's the Hammer squad, but we work hard. We're excited about coming out. You know what I mean? We're still trying to tighten up the team for the end of the year.
Go ahead, Cass.
Talk about bringing your guys out here to the western part of the state. What are you looking out of your guys this weekend at Powerade?
Well, I'd like to do a lot better than last year. Like to place, a few kids. Like to get back on track to what we were last year.
All right, so I got a question for Tyler. Tyler, talk about making the switch. You're over there, Canamac. You got Goose over there behind you. We're going to talk about a bunch of your kids here in a little bit, but just talk about just being a part of that whole conglomerate, if you will, at Canamac.
Yeah, I mean, I think as many people know, it's obviously wrestling tradition, and it's just kind of nice to be a part of. Not kind of, it is. I mean, a lot of emphasis put on wrestling and the kids here, and just letting them do what they do and giving them opportunities to do that. I mean, Jordan, head coach, all of us, we say it, they're spoiled. If you can't do well here, you're not trying, literally not trying, because they are given, or at least given the opportunity to do a lot of things, and a lot. I mean, a lot more, not just to do a lot of things, but like taken care of while doing that. It's nice. It's not only them but us. It's just really a good thing here, and I think that's why they have the tradition that they do, or we have the tradition that we do.
Now, Ty, you have a number of guys in your lineup that I expect to do pretty well in this tournament, and I'm sure you would agree with me on that. So what do you want to see out of your kids this weekend? Or I shouldn't say this weekend, this week at Powerade?
Just like my dad said, it's very, very, and I mean, we listened to Coach Phipps. I mean, this tournament's tough. So it's hard to say. But yeah, like Donnie said, we do have Lee Dressman, who is I said he was good from the beginning when I first started helping him out, and every time I see him, I gave him the credit. That I think he is one of the most wrestling smart, savvy people that I've ever seen in my life. The kid always knows the situation. He knows where he's at. He knows what's going on. He doesn't stop wrestling. It's hard to teach, and he has that. And now going down to 107. I mean, we just lost to the number 2 kid, and we we teched the number 5 kid in the state last weekend, and then lost to the number 2 kid 1-0. We were in on shots, didn't finish. Almost down on bottom multiple times. The kid got us. It was a great match, but the kid's good. And then obviously Collier, who was 4th in the state last year. He's not wrestling, I believe, at that level right now, but he's there. We know he has it. That could switch at any time. So obviously we're looking for those 2 guys, along with a lot of others. The Collins brothers up at the top weight. Our heavyweight's tough. I mean, pretty much our whole lineup could do well, but at the same time, like we said, it's tough. So who knows? Who knows who you run into in the bracket? There's kids you don't know. Like, we're just excited to see them compete and fight hard. And if they do that, then that's all we can really ask for.
Coach Nauman, talk to me about a guy like Cam Baum. Seems like one of those guys that had been a long-standing, member of your lineup, kind of a leader for you. Talk to me about guys like that, the Lawler brothers, the Lawler brothers. I'm sorry that have come through. Just talk about the leaders of your program.
It's a fine line. I've got some studs. I'm blessed to be coaching at Bishop McDevitt. My boys are wrestling hard in our room. Somebody has a bad day every day. As far as Cam Baum, Grayson Music, Lodier, I got a bunch of them. They've been working hard, so we have to push our season back. So this will be our first real test. We have to push our season back every year because our football team's good. So we're excited to get going. We've been working hard. It's as a coach, bringing them down to the level, because they know they're good. So keeping them on an even kill is a process. But I think we're ready.
Coach Norman, all the years you've dedicated to the sport, and now your son Tyler coaching at Cannon McMillan, you coached him to his state titles in Pennsylvania. If you guys match up somewhere in this tournament, what will it feel like coaching in an opposite corner of your son? You got to be proud of that as well, just knowing he's made it so far into the sport like you have.
Well, my personal opinion, and this isn't because I'm their dad, both my sons are very, very good coaches. Ken and Max picked up a good one right there. But coaching against my son, it's pretty awesome. But at the same time, we're not father and son. Once we line up against each other, we're at war, man. We're going for it.
That's how it should be, and I'm sure he would say the same.
I love that. That's fantastic.
For sure.
Kaz, anything else you have for the boys?
I'm good.
Same.
I'm probably going to get him thrown out. I'm going to get him all worked up so he gets thrown out this weekend.
Who, me? I don't really get worked up no more, so
yes.
I'm good to go. I got some crazy fans that get worked up.
That happens. Wrestling
we all
wrestling people have
all teams do, yes.
Boys, anything that you guys want to shout out before we leave you guys go?
I mean, I'm just, like I said, I'm blessed to have the opportunity to have the wrestlers I have and to be invited to this tournament. So looking to hopefully my kids do well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much. I do want to. Our girls are wrestling right now. We actually are sitting in the Kinemac office. We probably shouldn't be in here. Goose is paying into school, so it sponsors the tournament and team. So shout out to them, but got us in here so we could do this. But two of our girls just made the finals, and they took fifth at Ironman, or fourth at Ironman, and fifth at Beast, and now they're first here. So Coach Grant and Coach Ron and Sheila, they're doing a great job. And then a guy that my brother I coached at Team Nauman, Basco. So we just got an upgrade number one in state of junior high too. We talked about earlier, there's a lot of opportunity. Those guys are doing great. So shout out to them, the entire program, everybody. And then we'll see what happens this week.
For sure. Appreciate you, boys, and we will see you guys here in a couple hours, I guess.
Appreciate.
Yeah, good luck this weekend. Safe travels.
Thanks for having
us. No problem. We'll see you there.
Yes, sir.
All right. And that was the Nauman family. Again, a little bit fuzzy on T-Now's side. Just I'm sure that internet's getting sucked up pretty hard over there at Cannon Mac. So we did what we could, but it was cool to have them on and get their perspective. Two of them, and of course, the Mike now, the other Daniel Nauman was in the car as well. Shout out to him. Just three of the premier coaches in the WPIAL or not WPIAL, but in the state rather.
Yeah, Mike Nauman's built a just a hammer program there. at Bishop McDevitt, bringing his kids out west. And Tyler, we talked about it. They have a really good thing going at Cannon Mac, which isn't news to anybody over the last 25 years. But let's get into these weights, huh, Donnie?
Yeah, dude. I was just gonna say that. Let's pull these up, man. This is gonna be good stuff. We've been chomping at the bit. We've been teasing it. Let's do it. All right.
Yeah. So Donnie and I every year we usually give now we don't have brackets. These are just based off of seeds. So
Yep.
it's not all going to go, but we usually give what we think's our top 4, a sleeper in each weight, and then our OW. That's typically what we do here. Now, one new thing here, Donnie, they usually seed the top 8. They seeded the top 12 this year.
Yes, and I kind of like that, to be honest with you.
I love it. I love it.
I mean, a tournament that's good, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
Yes. I like the top 12 seed here.
All right, so let's just get right into it. Cooper Deputy, the 1 seed from Chestnut Ridge. Evan Elias. I'm sorry, I'm not on that right tab. Hold on, let me get there. Okay, Evan Size, Jack Anello, Nick Adito, Max Quarry, Lee Dressman, Hudson Chittum, Dakota Parker, Jones Lusker, and Arave Panday. I remember that name. He's good. That one I'm not even going to try. Andrew Menarchik.
Works for me.
And Bryce Thomas. But you look at down these top seeds alone right here, buddy. I see hammers littered throughout. And obviously for us, particularly in the Whippio, and we talked right there with Coach Ty Nauman, Lee Dressman from Cannon Mac, one of the bright young stars in the Whippio.
Yeah, I mean, Deputy's the number 1 kid in the country, number 1 or number 2 in the country. Dressman, the stud freshman out of Cannon McMillan that we've talked about a lot this year. And you go down just from a Whitfield standpoint, Bryce Thomas, the 12 seed out of Moon, really good. Mm-hmm. And then familiar name as the 7 seed, Ace Chittum out of Cleveland, Tennessee. His brothers, cousins are all wrestling Division I right now, at a number of schools. So he's going to be tough, just given his last name. And then Max Quarry out of Notre Dame Green Pond. Notre Dame Green Pond had a hell of an Ironman tournament. And they're going to be tough to beat in AAA this year. So look out for a lot of Notre Dame Green Pond guys. In this weight, my top 4, I have Cooper Deputy, Evan Size, Jack Anello out of Blair. And then I have Lee Dressman actually in the top 4 as well. And that could be in any order. Just have them there. And then as far as my sleeper, I'm going to go out to District 3. The sophomore from Berks Catholic, Trap Walsh, had a really good freshman year last year for Berks. I think he's going to make some noise here from an unseeded position.
I like that. Similar to what you have, I have Cooper Deputy, Size. I have Dressman taking 3rd. And then I have this, where is he at? This kid from Camp Hill, this Arave Panday, just because I'm obviously down below for West Allegheny, Jack Stonebreaker, who next year we'll talk a lot about. But all these guys were in his bracket, and I remember that Panday was pretty damn good. So I'm going to take him in 4th, and I think that 3rd, 4th place match could be either way. And for me, my sleeper is a guy from District 7 from the Whippio. Give me Mason Kiesecker from Derry. I think that he's a young stud that man, he looked good at Moon. Just had a little bit of trouble last tournament, but I think that he can be pretty much damn near anyone in this bracket. So give me Kiesecker as my sleeper there at 107 pounds.
Going to 114, the number 1 seed, Chase Karenbauer out of Grove City. We talked about him earlier, Donnie. 2 seed, Justin Farnsworth out of Malvern Prep. 3 seed, Braden Lotier out of Bishop McDevitt. Coach Nauman just spoke about him. Charlie Esposito, your 4 seed out of Jersey. Brock Humphrey out of Lindsay School, West Virginia, year 5. Liam McGettigan out of Lake Highland Prep, year 6. John Woodall, year 7. Kale Muller out of Notre Dame Green Pond, your 8. Keep an eye out for that. Tanner Cartribone, St. Francis, New York, your 9. Cam Smith out of Camp Hill, your 10. Zach Rehack out of TJ, your 11. And Saxon Madison, an early candidate for name of the tournament, out of Science Hill, Tennessee, making their Powerade debut, I believe. Science Hill, Tennessee is your 12 seed.
That's a great name too. Science Hill. What a name.
Yeah, Science Hill.
Yeah.
I wish Saxon Madison out of Science Hill. I don't know, Donnie. That could be name of the tournament. We'll get to some, but that's up there.
That's got to be on the list. That's got to be on the short list. There's no doubt. Okay, so for me, I'm pulling up my list now. I got Karen Bauer at first. I think I got Farnsworth in second, and I think that match is going to be really good. Loiter, I think has a pretty good chance to take third. I think those are for me, they're pretty much in my mind a clear top 3. Now,
me too.
That could be changed and contorted in any way. But I like Zach Rehack to get up there and take top 4. I've always been a Zach Rehack guy. I think that he can do some big things out of the 11 seed. So don't sleep on Zach Rehack. And for me, kind of a sleeper and someone that I've watched over the last couple of years, another Whippio guy, Anthony Jones out of Shaler, a guy that has been real close a handful of times. I think if he put the right tournament together, I don't know if he necessarily could place, but I think he could be a sleeper that can knock off and upset a lot of dudes. I've watched him a handful of times just be pretty special. He's just got to put it together. So I'm going to go Anthony Jones out of Shaler.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the top 3 seeds are a step above. So I think Karen Bauer, Farnsworth, and Latier, they all take top 3 in this tournament. The potential 2-3 semis match between Farnsworth and Latier, I think that could be one of the best matches of the tournament. Best matchup in this weight class, other than the potential finals matchup with Karen Bauer if he were to get there. And then I'm going to take Kale Muller out of Notre Dame Green Pond to get in that top 4. That's going to be a heck of a quarters between him and Karen Bauer. Muller beat Keegan Bassett at Ironman in a really good match. So he's on that level as well. So those are my top 4. And as far as my bracket buster sleeper, I am going to go down to kid out of Penns Valley, Evan Lasowski. He is a sophomore, had a really good freshman year last year for Penns Valley. Got to see him wrestle at Burl last year in the first or second round of the PIAA tournament. Penns Valley has a pretty solid squad again this year. So I'm going to go the top 3 and Muller to take top 4 here, and then Lasowski as my bracket buster at 114.
Love it. All right, moving on. 121. Landon Sidden from Norwin is your 1 seed. Mateo Gallegos from Du Bois is your 2 seed. JoJo Burke from St. Joe Prep is your 3 seed. Brock Rothamel from Line Mountain is your 4 seed. Wyatt Spencer from Wyoming Summit is your 5 seed. Wyatt Stauffer from Blair Academy is your 6 seed. Cade Collins from Southern Regional New Jersey is your 7 seed. Liam Davis from Lake Highland Prep is your 8. Your 9 seed is Gabe Swan from Baylor, Tennessee. Tommy Gretz out of Connellsville is your 10 seed. Dylan Barrett out of Penn Trafford is your 11 seed. And Javion Chambers from Highlands is your 12 seed. Lot of Whippio love in this group of seeds here. For me, it's clear and cut. Landon Sidden is the best guy in this bracket, number 1 guy in the country. I fully expect him to take care of business, a guy that just seems to be on a roll. So I got Sidden winning it. I got Rothermel taking third. If he was in a different spot in the bracket, I think that he is the second best guy. I've watched him a handful of times out of Line Mountain. He's really, really freaking good. And I don't think he has a chance to beat Sidden potentially, but I think he's going to give Sidden his best match there in the semis if they do meet up. So give me Rothermel third, and I'm going to take Gallegos second. Kind of chalky there. With the top 3 for the 4th spot, I got Dylan Barrett coming all the way back up. Give me the squirrel, taking 4. I think he's going to be pretty good and doing his thing. And for my sleeper, a guy that we touched on a little bit with Coach Phipps, give me Ian Stearns out of Grove City. I think that he's a guy that could surprise some people. I've seen some videos of him. Never watched him live, at least not that I can remember. And a guy that, every time I watch a video of him, I'm just super impressed with how he wrestles. So give me Ian Stearns as my sleeper pick at 121.
I love this weight. Again, I don't see anybody beating Sidden. Sidden's going to win this weight class. And I'll piggyback you again. Tough to see Rothamel as the 4 because I would take him over Mateo Gallegos out of DuBois, who's really good. I think Rothamel's the second best kid here, but that's the way the seats fell. I think Sidden, Gallegos, Rothamel, top 3. I'm with you again. I think Squirrel, Dylan Barrett going to creep into that top 4 in this weight. The Whippeal depth here is insane with Gretz and Chambers. Gianna Gardner out of Cannon Mac, who is actually going to be my sleeper. I don't know if anybody in the Whippeal has started the season off hotter than Gianna Gardner. He's wrestled a meat grinder schedule of kids he's wrestled, and he's found a way. So I think he's going to get on the podium here. But there's a lot of guys in this weight that aren't seated that are going to pose issues with Jamison Forrest out of McCourt, Keegan Barrick out of McDevitt, Gardner out of Cannon Mac, Garrett Wyden out of Chestnut Ridge, really good, Colangelo out of Franklin, and then you mentioned a couple. Stearns placed in the state last year, not seated. Bruce Anderchak out of Quaker Valley.
He was real close. I wanted to do Bruce, but I have so many freaking Whippeal guys as my sleepers. I had to go a little bit off, but I definitely could see Bruce, doing pretty well. He looked great at what was the first tournament of the year, Shark Houston.
And then another name just to keep an eye on. I'm not going to pick him to place, but Waylon Waite, the senior out of Reynolds. Kid's been there a while. He's good. This weight is, you know what? I'll go as far as to say there's going to be out of the top 8 seeds, 3 of the top 8 seeds aren't going to place.
Ooh, I like that.
3 of the top 8 seeds aren't going to place.
So we're looking at some craziness at 121 pounds. Moving on up, 127.
127. Here we go. Your number 1 seed, Paul Kenny out of Christian Brothers Academy in Jersey. Your 2 seed, Dominic Deputy out of Chestnut Ridge. Max Dingus of Penns Valley. Your 3, Jack Barron. Your 4 out of Germantown Academy. Connor Whitley, St. Ed's. Your 5. Cale Davis out of State College. Your 6. Brendan Kelly from Malvern Prep is your 7. Edward George, Blair Academy. Cullen Edwards out of St. Francis, New York is your 8. Edward George out of Blair is your 9. Dom Canali, a name we've been hearing for feels like 10 years out of Trinity, your 10. Nolan Rice, Connellsville, your 11. And Jordan Manette out of Camp Hill, your 12. I think this weight is a collision course to see Deputy and Kenny in the finals here. I fully expect that to happen. I have Kenny beating Deputy in that match. So I have Kenny 1, I have Deputy 2. Jack Barron out of Germantown Academy, I have taking 3rd. And Cale Davis out of State College taking 4th. That is my top 4. As far as my bracket buster, I'm going to go a little up north here to Reynolds and take Logan Stewart as my bracket buster there. There are a couple other names I do like in this bracket that aren't seated, but Carson Miller out of Frank Cox, Virginia, another name to look out for.
Yeah, that was a good one. Ian Stewart was definitely a guy that I was looking at, another boy up north there. For me, I went back and forth on that first place match. I was like, I love Dom Deputy, and he seems like he always really wrestles good here at this tournament. He's beaten some really good guys, and ultimately I couldn't do it. I think Paul Kenny's just a little bit too much. I think that's going to be the finals, though. I would be surprised if it's not the finals. And again, would I be surprised if Deputy won? Not at all. Like I said, he wrestles great in this gym every single year. So even when he was a freshman, I remember seeing that name. I'm like, that kid's good. So again, that's going to be the finals. I got Kenny winning that match. 3rd place, I got Cale Davis from State College coming out and taking 3rd. And then 4th place, I got Nolan Rice, little Connellsville action, a guy that, I think he's going to put it together and have a good weekend. And for my sleeper, it was a tough one, man. There was a couple of kids here I really like DeSantis out of Penn Trafford. I like Stewart that we talked about, but ultimately I kind of went with the cheat code there. Mikey Batista out of St. Joe's Regional. He's ranked 17th in the country. He's unseeded. So obviously I think that that's a guy that everyone kind of needs to put on their radar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good kid not to be seeded. Anytime you want to look for a non-seeded kid to look, Burke's Catholic, Bishop McCourt, Bishop McDevitt, and Cannon Mac. Alphabetically, they're 4 in a row in this thing. Anytime they're not seeded, just look at those four schools in the unseededs, and you're gonna find a good kid. Carfley, Kraus, and Emma, all guys that can do some damage in this tournament.
No doubt about it. Yeah, and furthermore, on what you're talking about, like you said, and that goes for the prep schools. If you see an unseeded prep kid that's in the bracket, better strap up. You never know. You know, YMSM or Malvern, some of these dudes that they either maybe just want to wrestle off or whatever, and they are ready to go chomping at the bit. So, yeah, that's a good call there, Cass. All right, moving on down. Where are we at here? 133 pounds. Let's move this sheet down now. All right. Vincenzo Anello from Blair Academy is your 1 seed. Stephen Myers from Parkersburg, South West Virginia is your 2 seed. Lucas Littleton of Mascaro. Malvern Prep is your 3. Will Detter of Trinity is your 4. Brayton Weaver of Altoona is your 5. Marco Loss of Council Rock North is your 6. Yandel Morales of Lake Highland Prep is your 7. Mason Whitney is your 8. Shai Shabag from Germantown is your 9. Anthony Delgado is your 10. Eric Carlisle is your 11. And Josh White is your 12. Kaz here, man, I like this weight class a lot. I think there's some really good kids in here, and they're all kind of, I think it's kind of like a toss-up. So for me, I'm going to go with a guy, and this might be a little bit of a surprise here, but I'm going to go Will Detter to win the championship here. A guy I watched at the CWA card. I was super impressed with him, his positioning. I know that he's wrestling high-level guys, college guys, freaking senior-level guys every day. So give me Will Detter to go out and win the championship here. I think he's going to take out Anello in the semis. He's going to beat Myers in the finals. So I got Anello coming back to take 3rd, Detter to win, Myers in 2nd, and then I got Braden Weaver taking 4th. I think that those are the clear top 4 guys, all, ranked in the country. But for me, those are my top 4. And then this one here, man, it was kind of trying to figure out who I was going to go with. I like a lot of kids here. Evan Sala from Mount Lebanon. I feel like he's wrestled really good. Nassif from Franklin Regionals wrestled really good. But ultimately, I think I'm going to go with a freshman that not a lot of people know about, but another Northern boy, Tino Scolio from Reynolds, a kid that, he's been a stud on the junior high circuit for years, a guy that I've kind of kept my eye on and I've been so impressed with. So I think he can create some noise, and he's my sleeper here at 133.
Yeah, so this weight, I always have one where I just have shit hitting the fan.
Yeah.
And this is the weight for me.
Yep.
I think my top 4, I don't think either of the top 2 seeds hold here into the finals. I think Lucas Littleton Mascaro and Will Dieter are going to meet in the finals here. And then my other 2 guys in the top 4 are both unseeded guys. I think Telly Babatis out of Montoursville, shout out Matt Taylor, all he does out in that Montoursville, Warrior Run, Montgomery area. And then another name unseeded, I think, is taking top 4 is Kevin Molulart out of Cedar Cliff. Kid is really good, had a hell of a tournament here last year. I think both of those guys are going to creep up into the top 4 here. Weaver's not to be counted out of Altoona either. And then as far as my bracket buster here, I'm going to go into Westmoreland County and take Gavin Murphy out of Kiski area. Gavin Murphy has a very hot start to the year for Kiski. I want to say he's like 13-1 right now.
Yeah, Gavin's wrestling good.
So I'm going to take him as my bracket buster. But there's a number of other guys. Whippeal, you named him. Kelly Yannick's in this bracket.
Yep.
Colton Clip out of Norwin. Jake Lang out of Penn Trafford. There's some depth here from a Whippeal standpoint. I'm excited to see them put their talent on display.
Yeah, for sure. All right, brother man. Moving on up.
139, your 1 seed, Jax Forrest out of Bishop McCourt. Carson Brown out of St. Ed's, year 2. Tyler DeCracker out of Lake Highland Prep, year 3. Dale Corbin out of Sem, year 4. Cam Baum out of McDevitt, year 5. This might be the best 1 through 5 in the tournament. Tyler Conroy out of Malvern, year 6. Collier Hartman out of Canamac, year 7. Aiden Herndon out of Cedar Cliff, year 8. Dalton Winter, Cranberry, year 9. Colston Skeen out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, year 10. Gunnar Masajewski out of Berks Catholic, year 11, and Drake McClure out of Bentworth, year 12. Donnie, to me, this is the most depth 1 through 12 in the bracket. They're in the weight out of any of the weights here. I think this one has the most depth out of 1 through 12 here. Headlined by, Jax Forrest here. I'd be a fool to say Jax Forrest doesn't win it, so I'm not going to make myself look like a fool. Jax Forrest is going to win this weight. And now shit hits the fan because 2 through 8 are going to be wild. I think at the end of the day, I think Cam Baum is going to take care of Dale Corbin in that quarterfinal match.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have Baum in the top 4. I'm going to have DeCracker in the top 4, as well as Carson Brown out of St. Ed's. So I have the 1, 2, 3, and 5 seed taking top 4 here. As far as my bracket buster, I'm going to stay within the Whippeal and go with Drake McClure out of Bentworth.
I think that's good. And obviously what you said there is I'm going to echo what you're saying as far as Jax Forrest. I mean, my man was on the world team for the senior level. So I'm not going to pick against that. No chance, no how. No, that's not to say that there's not other fantastic talent in this weight. I mean, other than that, could argue this is the best weight as far as concentrated high-end talent across the entire tournament. So, Carson Brown's a guy. That 2-3 matchup, that Decatur and Carson Brown match, that's going to be a dogfight, dude. And if that's the eventual semi, but to get there, they got to go through some studs and potentially Hartman, Conroy. I mean, all right. So for me, I got Forrest 1, I got Brown 2. I got Decatur 3. I think they're going to hold strong. Cam Baum easily can finish in those top 3, but I think he's going to finish 4th. So those are my top 4. And, man, there's so many guys. Like, I love Dalton Winter. I can't really call him a sleeper. I think that he could be easily finished in the top 4. I think he's going to get on the podium. I love, like I said, Collier Hartman. We talked about him a little bit earlier. There's a bunch of kids here. But for me, I'm going to go with Chase Smith out of Franklin Regional, a guy that we've seen, kind of up and down, have good moments, have, moments where I'm sure he's, hoped to be better. I think he puts it all together this weekend and finds himself either on the podium or right there or pushing to be in a really good spot. So give me Chase Smith out of Franklin Regional.
Yeah, and I just realized I took Drake McClure as my sleeper. He is seated here. I like to use my sleeper as an unseated guy. So I will take that away just to stay true to what I usually.
McClure is not going to have a good tournament.
Yes, not saying he's not going to have a good tournament, but he is seated. I like to pick an unseated guy as my sleeper. Chase Smith is a great pick here, but I am going to go up Chestnut Ridge boy Trendon Willie. Had a pretty good career so far. Chestnut Ridge always competes well on the big stage. Give me Trendon Willie at a CR.
All right. Moving on to 145 pounds. Let's move the sheet. All right. Bobby Duffy is your 1 seed out of Christian's Brother Academy. Matt O'Neill out of Malvern is your 2 seed. Drake Hoyman out of Slam Academy is your 4. Tyler Travis is your 4. Kai Bioma is your 5. Grayson Music is your 6. Nika Mazel is your 7. Weston Borgers from Blair is your 8. Kellen Sanders of Cleveland is your 9. Jake Keel of St. Ed's is your 10. Jackson Butler of Bishop McCourt is your 11, and Max Firestein out of Franklin Regional is your 12. For me, Kaz, I got Matt O'Neill winning this weight. I love Matt O'Neill. I liked him last year. I think he looks really good. I think he's going to come out and get this bracket in an interesting weight. I mean, you got Kai Bioma here. You got Grayson Music. But I got Matt O'Neill winning it. I got what do I have? I got coming out of the top side. I got Kai Bioma making the finals. I think this is an open weight. So give me Kai Bioma as the runner-up over, and Matt O'Neill is the winner in the finals. Grayson Music taking third, and then for me, taking fourth. I don't know, man. This one's tough because I like a lot of kids here. I'm gonna go Max Firestein. I know it's back to back on those Franklin Regional boys, but I think those are two of my favorites in that lineup. I love those two. I think that they're gonna wrestle well. And then, for sleepers, I'm going to go Mikey McNeil, the freshman out of Derry.
Like it. I have Matt O'Neill winning this weight as well. Out of the 2 seed here. Some interesting names here. Jackson Butler at the 11 seed. He would have been seeded higher, but he didn't wrestle postseason or this tournament last year.
Definitely interesting.
Stuck behind Bassett in the lineup, but he beat Dalton Perry last year at Midwinter Mayhem. So Butler is, I'm fully confident he's placing in this weight. Him and Music, the 6'11" and around the 16, that's freaking wild. I think the winner of that beats Drake Hoyman in the quarters and wrestles O'Neill in the semis. Either way, I have O'Neill winning it. I think Music comes back, takes top 4. I think Jackson Butler takes top 4. And I think Kai Vilma takes top 4 in this weight here. As far as my sleeper, I'm going to go Nate Klingensmith out of Norwin for my bracket buster here.
I like Klingensmith. That's a good one. All right.
That
152.
Music and Butler, man. It's going to be
that one's wild, no doubt.
152, Bo Bassett, your 1 seed out of Bishop McCourt. Declan O'Brien from Malvern, your 2. Hudson Homan out of Grove City, your 3. Charlie DeCina, Lake Highland Prep, your 4. Jason Doob out of Spire Academy, your 5. Dominic Way out of Parkersburg, your 6. Michael Turry in a new singlet for Wyoming Seminary, was at West Scranton the past few years. He is your 7. Ben Aguilar is your 8 out of Mountain View, Virginia. Theron Svetnot from Blacksburg, Virginia, your 9. James Whitbread, State College, your 10. Ezra Swisher out of Belfont, your 11. And Matthew Arndt out of Battlefield, Virginia, is your 12. Shout out Battlefield, Virginia. My cousin is the high school principal at Battlefield.
There you go.
Virginia.
Love
Bo Bassett's winning this weight. I don't think anybody will disagree. Bassett's going to win this weight. I think he's going to wrestle Hudson Homan in the finals. I have them top 2. I think Michael Terry sneaks up into the top 4. And I think Declan O'Brien out of Malvern will be top 4 here as well. As far as my bracket buster, I'm going to stay within the Whippeal here. There were a couple names here. I thought Luke Lilly could make some noise. Mikey Ruane out of Franklin Regional. But at the end of the day, I went with Cole Gibbons out of Mount Lebanon, the senior, as my bracket buster.
Damn, dude, you took mine. I love me some Cole Gibbons. He's been wrestling great. That's a great one. I love Cole Gibbons. All right, so let's not bury the lead. Bo Bassett's going to win this. No surprise there. He'll take care of business. I like the Hudson Homan pick, taking second. He's going to have a battle there in the potential quarterfinal there with Dube there from Spire Academy. Or I'm sorry, he's going to have Dominic Way potentially from Parkersburg. But I like Michael Terry getting up in there in the top 4. So I got Bassett winning in the 2 through 4 in no particular order. I got Michael Terry, Hudson Homan, and the DeCina there, the number 2 kid in the country. So however that's going to shake out, that's my top 4. And then again, Cole Gibbons is a guy that, I've watched at the Allegheny County tournament. I watched him last week at the Moondles wrestle from Quaker Valley, Matt Dana, and he looked good in that match. So I'm just a fan of Cole Gibbons, so that is my sleeper as well. All right, 160 pounds. Let's move the sheet. Melvin Miller is your 1C, one of the best guys in the country. Love watching him go. Zeno Moore is your 2. Griffin LaPlante is your 3. Billy Tyler is your 4. Brian Chamberlain is your 5. Raymond Fitzgerald is your 6. Nikki Negron is your 7. Gavin Campoli is your 8. Jeff Schneider is your 9. Owen Ipsick is your 10. Carl Ludwig is your 11, and Evan Olson is your 12. Good weight here, Kaz. I got Melvin Miller winning it, and then my 2 through 4 in no particular order, I guess. I got Zeno Moore, and I got Griffin LaPlante. I think those are pretty clearly the top 3 kids in this weight. And then I got Owen Ipsick jumping up in there. One of my favorite kids to watch wrestle. Hard-nosed kid. Of course, we are good friends with the coaches over there at Bentware. 2 of our both of them, Francis and Augustus Mizia, 2 of our favorites to talk to. And yeah. So let me see here. I'm going to go with Jake Lilly as my sleeper. I like the Lilly boys. I think Jake's wrestling pretty good. Jake Lilly is going to be my sleeper. Again, a couple other guys are mentioned just a little bit before there. Matt Dana, I think, could do some damage if he puts it together. There's a couple decent kids here. But Jake Lilly, I think, out of Connellsville is my sleeper. Ellen Olson, I think, is interesting as well as a 12 seed there for Derek.
Yeah, Miller's going to win this weight.
Yep.
And I think the top 3 seeds will all be in the top 4. I think Zeno Moore and Griffin LaPlante will be in there. And I'm just going to flip the 5 and 4. I think Brian Chamberlain out of SEM will creep up into that top 4. Ipsick, he's going to score a shitload of points from start to finish. We know that. He's must see. He's entertaining. Just one of my favorite kids just to watch wrestle, because you're going to get the kitchen sink and there's going to be a shitload of points on the school scoreboard. As far as a bracket buster, I like Mason Calgaro out of Cannon Mac. I think he's going to pose some issues here. Same with Logan Matrish out of Penn Trafford. I think both of those 2 are who should keep an eye on. I like Dan out of Quaker Valley too, but between Matrish and Calgaro, it was tough for me to pick one of them. I would keep an eye out for both of those guys. Don't be surprised if you see both of them wrestling late on Tuesday.
I like that. All right, moving on down. Before we do our next weight class, Kaz, let's do our last 2 sponsors. First one, D1 Wrestling Club down there in Jefferson Hills, Pennsylvania. Good friend of the show, Snapper James Fleming, runs that program. Fantastic stuff down there in Jefferson Hills, Pennsylvania. One of my favorite guys to talk to in the WIPIO. Just his mind is just like no other. And of course, he gets his guys ready to go. So James Fleming down there, D1 Wrestling Club in Jefferson Hills, Pennsylvania. Go check him out. And my next and final sponsor is Quest School of Wrestling. That is in Muse, Pennsylvania, out there towards Cannonsburg. 84 PA, I believe, is the technical term. But that is ran by legendary coach Jim Akerley here in the WIPIO. I know that he has All-American Peyton Hall in there a bunch. So just, one of the premier clubs here in the WIPIO and in the state of Pennsylvania. Fantastic stuff. Thank you guys for sponsoring the show and, being a big part of it. All right, Kaz, what do we think? 172 pounds. Whose turn is it, mine or yours?
Me. 172. Okay. We have Gage Wenzel, your 1 seed out of Montoursville. Titus Norman out of Baylor, Tennessee, your 2. Lucas Bowe out of Lake Highland, your 3. Ryan Meyer out of Blair Academy, your 4. David Perez out of Pontiac, Rhode Island, making their debut. Max Fortier out of University, West Virginia. Mason Horwath, your 7 seed out of Derry. Sam Almadina out of SEM is your 8. Jesse Adams out of Parkersburg South, your 9. Rory White out of St. Francis, your 10. Chase Hetrick out of Malvern Prep, year 11. Jackson Long out of Bellefonte, year 12. I have Wenzel winning this weight out of Montoursville. And I have Horwat sneaking in. I have Horwat winning that quarterfinal match against Titus Norman out of Baylor, Tennessee. So I have Wenzel, Horwat, Bowe, and Meyer taking top 4, in this weight class. Bracket Buster, I almost picked this kid to finish in the top 4, but I went against it, and that's CJ Pensiero out of Bishop McCourt.
I like it. Okay, and he's definitely one of those ones that I was looking at is Pensiero. For me, I got Gage Wenzel winning, Titus Norman in second. I think those two hold for me. Third place, maybe a little bit surprised. He's also going to be my sleeper, Teague Sanderson from State College. Of course, kind of a hard name to miss there. And he's been doing big things already. The freshman at 172 pounds, I think he has a pretty good bloodline. So I'm going to pick him to be my sleeper. But that's not to say I have other sleepers. I really like Caleb Kinsley of Armstrong. I think that he could be good. CJ Pensiero, I was really looking at him out of McCourt. I like Guilfoyle from McDevitt, who's pretty good. This weight class is loaded, man. I think this is going to be, a really interesting one. And I believe that Teague's gonna upset some dudes and really make some waves in this bracket.
Yeah, there's some Whippeal guys in this weight. I mean, with Cartwright and Costa.
Yep,
in
Costa's
this
another
weight
one.
Class. There's the Lasowski kid out of Penns Valley is really good. Not a Whippeal guy, but close enough.
Yep.
There's some depth from the unseeded positions. In this weight class.
Yeah, I agree. Love this weight. All right, moving on down, 189 pounds. Dominic Sumpalek of Notre Dame Green Pond is your 1. Salah Tarzny of Blair is your 2. Daibo Hughes is your 3. Mario Hutcherson is your 4. Frankie Piper is your 5. Hayden Harvey is your 6. Hunter Snyder is your 7. Brady Brown is your 8. Dylan Reel is your 9. Angelo Jackson is your 10. Rudy Wagner is your 11. And Dustin Cohn is your 12. All right, Cass, for me, there's a lot of really good Whippeal kids in these seeds. And I love all 3 of these guys. I love Hunter Snyder. I love Brady Brown. I love Mario Hutcherson. I think Supplemec's going to win it, though. He's pretty damn good. I think he takes care of business. But that if Mario Hutcherson puts himself in the position to wrestle Supplemec in the semis, am I going to be surprised if Mario beats him? Not at all. I could definitely see Mario Hutcherson in the finals here, but I'm not going to pick it just yet. I'm going to go Supplemec in the finals. I think Hutcherson's going to come back and take 3rd or 4th. And I think either Brady Brown or Hunter Snyder is going to sneak their way into there for 3rd and 4th. So yeah, let me do Supplemec. Let's do Tarzny as the top 2, and I'm going to do Hutcherson and Brady Brown as the 3-4. And then for me, my sleeper of this weight class, just looking down this list here, there's this weight class here. I think it just being that, the heavier guys for the Whippeal is, there's a good name. Give me Nez Green. That's a great name. Guy that we saw battle Hunter Snyder, one of the best matches of all time in my mind. I'll never forget that match. It's literally one of the best matches of all time. So yeah, give me Nez Green, no brainer.
You brought it up, so we got to talk about it. Holy shit. That match.
Incredible.
The Nez Green Hunter Snyder match last year was hands down the best match of last year. And I think I tweeted out it was the best match I've watched in 10 years.
Do yourself a favor. Whippeal, what was it? I think it was in the backside.
It was on the backside. No, that was it. Was that at the – I can't remember if that was at regionals, in the AAA regional.
We'll have to look that up. Oh,
it was on the backside.
I'm looking it up.
Christ. That was the best match in the last 10 years. And it was just wild. Let's get back to Powerade, but shit, I had to bring that up.
That I know. I might have to watch that after I'm done, just to get myself fired up for Powerade. Go ahead.
I think the top 4 seeds hold here with who's Hutchinson, Sarney, and Sumpalak. I think those 4 are kind of cut above everyone else here. Not counting out Brady Brown or Snyder. Jackson Angelo out of Lake Highland Prep, who's a Fraser boy, transferred down there, so he's making his way back up into Western PA. He'll be in the mix. Bryce Collins, unseeded out of Cannon Mac, really like him. Same with Jay Nimler out of Chestnut Ridge. But I do think the top 4 seeds hold here as the top 4 finishers. And as far as my bracket buster, I am going to go down to, I love the Nez Green pick. It's tough. If you didn't pick him, I would have. But I'll stay in the whippy and go Zach LeBrier out of TJ.
Good one.
LeBrier, another guy, kitchen sink guy, going to give you full 6 minutes of just hand fight in your face. So I'll go with LeBrier. I would have went with Nez Green, but I'll take LeBrier here. 215. Cooper Roskowski out of Kiski, your 1 seed. Kendall Hoare out of DuBois, your 2. Kai Calcutt out of Loyola Academy, Illinois, your 3. Tyler Palumbo out of Christian Brothers, your 4. Aiden Peterson, St. Ed, your 5. Connor Smalley of Green Pond, your 6. Satoshi Davis out of Slam Academy in Las Vegas, Nevada. I believe they're in Las Vegas. Year 7. Bradley DeMiglio, Malvern, year 8. Thomas Kellis out of Blair, year 9. Zach Caldwell out of St. Francis, year 10. Rock Charette, Baylor, Tennessee, year 11. And Braden Collins out of Cannon Mac, year 12 seed here. The Calcutt horse semis match, that's a tough one. I'm going to take Calcutt in that match. We saw Roskowski and Hoare wrestle earlier this year. Roskowski had the day of the century. He beat Kendall Hoare, who was ranked 1, who was coming off of Elijah Brown win. Roskowski was ranked 3 in the state at that point. Roskowski beat the number 1 kid in the state at 215. And then half hour later, felt like beating the number 1 heavyweight in the state in AAA. So I'm going to pick Roskowski to win this. He's as hot as any wrestler in this bracket right now with what he's done lately. Give me Roskowski to win it. Calcutt second, Hoare third. I think they're a clear-cut top 3 here. And give me Braden Collins out of Cannon Mac to sneak in there into that top 4. Give me him to sneak in there. As far as my bracket buster, I like Tay Bradshaw out of Armstrong. I think he can pose some issues here. But I am going to go other wire and say Roan Tustin out of
You took mine. That was a good one. That's a good one. I deserve it after taking the Nez Green.
We're even.
Yes. All right. No, I agree. If you will, a little bit before the youngins' time, but NBA Jam, I'm going to stay in the flames on Cooper Roskowski. I got him winning this tournament over Kendall Hoare. I think that match is going to be a dogfight, though. I mean, both those dudes. I mean, Kendall Hoare has a win over Elijah Brown from Bell Vernon as well. So those guys, I think, I fully expect to be in the finals. And again, I think the top 4 seeds hold the year to bury the lead. I don't know who's going to win between Calcutt and Palumbo, but I think, those 2 are going to be in the 3rd and 4th place match. Top 2 are going to be in the finals. And for me, looking at this one, I was definitely going to pick Roan Tustin because I think that he's at 215. What a monster is he? Oh my goodness. But I'm going to go Colton Tupper from Reynolds, ranked number 13 in the country, unseeded, the senior. Give me him. All right. The last one. The big boys. All right. Lucas Salata from Malvern is your 1 seed. Christian Alvarez from St. Joe's Regional is your 2. Kel Milnick from Blair is your 3. Isaiah Taylor from AIM Academy is your 4. William Whitaker from St. Francis, New York is your 5. Caleb Rodriguez from Bishop McCourt is your 6. Colin White from West Green is your 7. Philip Rearick from Armstrong is your 8. Hayden Cox from Science Hill, Tennessee is your 9. And Noah Knorp from Notre Dame Greenbond is your 10. Blake Elder from Jensen Beach, Florida is your 11. And Anderson Papelian from Wyoming Sam is your 12 seed there. For me, I'll go with give me Isaiah Taylor out of AIM Academy coming out and getting the championship here. In the match, I think that, that Philip Rearick's he's gonna give some people some problems, man. I think that he's gonna give I do, man. I think he's gonna give the one seed some problems in the quarters. He's a stud. So
he's tough to wrestle.
Yes, he is. I don't know if he's gonna beat the number 1 seed, but I think he's gonna take top 4. So give me Zalota to win it Taylor to win it. I got Zalota to take third. I think Taylor's going to beat Alvarez in the finals. I think Alvarez is going to find his way to make it out there. But I got Rearick coming back and taking top 4, man. I think he's a problem. He's tough to wrestle. He stays in good position. Obviously, one of my favorite coaches in the Whitfield, and Brandon Knoll, is over there doing some good things and putting him in the right position. So, yeah, that's what I got.
I have Lucas Zalata, Christian Alvarez, Kale Melnick, and Caleb Rodriguez taking top 4 here. Rodriguez out of the 6th seed from Bishop McCourt. I think Colin White's going to pose issues. That is a big freaking heavyweight.
Yes.
Just a massive human being. Rearick going to cause problems as well. But I just think those top 3 and Rodriguez have a little too much for them. But it wouldn't surprise me. I think White and Rearick are both going to place.
Mm-hmm.
As far as my bracket buster, I'm going to go down to Shaler and take Trevor Signetti out of Shaler. Kind of maybe a name a lot of people haven't been accustomed to yet, but the kid's good. He's more of an athletic style heavyweight, not just a big brute. Complete clash of styles than some of these heavyweights. And I think that'll cause some problems here. So give me Signetti out of Shaler as my bracket buster here.
All right, dude. And that is it.
Perfect timing.
One.
We said an hour and 40 minutes so we can watch the Steelers win the North. But, oh, shit. OW, Donnie.
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a 2-horse race to me.
Jackson Bassett. Which one you gonna pick?
I went with Forrest just because I think
the weight's deeper, right?
Yeah, I think they're both gonna bonus their way to titles. Tech or Pin, and I look at Forrest's weight class being better than Bassett's, so that's why I went with Forrest.
Love it. Yeah, I agree with Forrest there. I just think that as much as Bassett, creates all the, the hype and does all the things, I think Forrest just being the deeper weight class, and now Bassett might just hammer everyone, and he might get like the most falls in the least amount of time or something.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Team Ty, what do you think, bud? It's got to be one of the preps, right? Blem or Wyoming Sam or Blair or Malvern, one of those 3, right?
Yeah, I would think just based on what they did at Ironman and that, but if McCourt gets 3 champs all with bonus, that's gonna put them in the mix too.
It's close.
I'm gonna stick with Blair Academy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with Blair. I feel like that's the easy pick, but they have guys seated top 5 everywhere, and I'm gonna stay with Blair.
They just rotate between those 3 on who's the best team in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Between Malvern, Blair, and Sam. I'm gonna go Blair as well. I'm not gonna change too much up. I think they are the best team in the country. I think they're gonna flex their muscles here, but I don't know. All right, so here's the last question. Over under. I think I looked back last year. There was 10 Whippeal medalists. Over under 10 this year.
I think of teams. Franklin, Canterbury. Over.
I agree. I think we get over this year. I think there's some freshmen coming in. I think there's some guys that didn't place last year. I think I have a great chance to place this year.
Yeah, I'll say over. There's a lot of good kids in the field. I'll say over.
All right, and that will do it for another edition of Near Falls in the Whippeal. Go out, watch some great wrestling. I know you guys don't have too much going on the next 2 days. And if you're not available to go out, check out Westmoreland Sports Network. The finals for the Southmoreland Holiday Classic is tomorrow. Was that usually around 3-ish, Kaz? I'm not
Finals
tomorrow,
will be
but
at
Tuesday.
Tuesday. The finals will be at 4 o'clock, I believe.
Okay, 4 o'clock. So check that out on Westmoreland Sports Network. And of course, you can watch every single match on Flow Wrestling of the Powerade Wrestling Tournament. Kaz and I will be over there. Come say hi, come say what's up. And let's get these dudes on the podium. Can't wait for another great week in the Whippeal, Kaz.
Best time of year, Donnie. Best time of year. We will see you all at Powerade this weekend. Come up, stop, say hello. You'll see Donnie and I up there. Come talk, come chop it up. I know Mr. Barrett will be up there talking to us, our man. So
Yes, sir.
we're excited. We're excited.
As always, for Kaz, for D Hall, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll see you real soon.